Well, it says the season for gifts, parties, decorations, even Santa himself. With all that going on, it's easy for the true meaning of Christmas to get lost. But some say the meaning isn't just lost, it's changing. Here to tell us more is Dr. Tricia Bruce, a sociology professor who studies religious patterns, certainly among other things. And we welcome you, Dr. Bruce, anxious to have this conversation. Before we do, though, we want to know if you think the religious parts of Christmas need to be emphasized more or less, or do you think there's a good balance? You can weigh in on WBIR.com right now or using our WBIR app, and love to see how you all feel about this conversation. So let's start with the numbers, some interesting statistics out there right now, Dr. Bruce. The Pew Research Center found that 56% of Americans say the religious aspects of Christmas are emphasized less now than in the past. Are you surprised by that number, 56%?
Yeah, we know that this time of year means a lot of things to a lot of people. We certainly to religious traditions, it's a central celebration. It's a time with family, it's a time off work, time off school. But a lot of folks, of course, are still emphasizing this religious emphasis. In fact, 55% of Americans say that this time of year has a religious meaning to them. This Pew survey asked, well, to what extent is that religiosity still emphasized? And a lot of people are observing, hey, we're seeing it less. We're seeing it less in the stores, less in conversations, less in the public, in the way that we talk about what this time of year means.
And something else in the Pew Research study says that more than half of those people are actually bothered by this change. And we're seeing our viewers weighing in at this point. Do you think religious aspects of Christmas need to be stressed? And 77% of you all are saying, and it's rising too, that more emphasis needs to be placed on Christmas, more religious emphasis. So what's happening here if a lot of people are bothered?
Yeah, it really depends on who you ask. You know, some people are not bothered at all by this. In fact, a number of folks that Pew talked to were not bothered in the least. Some people were really bothered. In part, it goes back to who you're asking along the lines of things like age. So, for example, millennials are much less likely to be bothered by this. Politically, Democrats less likely to be bothered by this than Republicans. And, you know, certainly part of the country matters as well in terms of, you know, whether people are expecting or looking for this kind of religiosity in understanding what the holiday means.
Sure. Now, do you think this is just a sign of some people being more open-minded? We hear more these days, happy holidays, as opposed to Merry Christmas. What do you attribute to these changes?
Right, yeah. In fact, the Pew survey also asked people, well, are you bothered by the greeting? So does it matter if you walk into a store and someone says Merry Christmas or someone says Happy Holidays? And again, you know, some people were bothered, but actually a number of Americans said, well, it doesn't necessarily matter as much to them what the greeting is. One of the big factors that we have to remember in thinking about religiosity in the U.S. at large is that we have an increasing number of folks who don't have a religious affiliation, so what sociologists call the nones, N-O-N-E. When you have a higher proportion of people who either don't attend religious services or for whom religion is not as important, then they're not going to be bothered if they perceive the religiosity of this time of year to be going down. On the other end, if you have folks who are heavily involved in their religious identity and their religious faith and attend on a more regular basis, they may be more bothered by this. On average, Americans attend religious services, about a third of Americans attend religious services weekly. On Christmas time, it has decreased, and about half go on Christmas. So this is a time of year that even for those who don't attend regularly, it tends to up the meaning of the season.
Okay, great. Well, interesting study here by Pew. We appreciate you coming on, Dr. Tricia Bruce. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.